So, is this the Mindfulness Oscars? I'd like to tell you a little bit about the inspiration and the purpose behind the Innovations Awards. For me, innovation is something really simple. Its essence, it's like there's something that could be better. As mindfulness practitioners, we're not supposed to say there's something wrong. Okay. Could be better, and a decision to do something about it, which actually is compassion. I think compassion is a really important aspect of innovation. So the two issues that were bothering me, the first one was I wanted to make, like everybody here, wanted to make mindfulness more accessible. And accessibility doesn't necessarily mean through poverty or lack of resources. It could just mean that people haven't yet found an approach to mindfulness that resonates with their lived experience. Actually, we can't change the essence of mindfulness. It's very simple. It'd be sad if we tried. But we can present it in ways that will have people say, yeah, okay, I can see why I might bother. But why do I want to even bother making it more accessible? And this is a bit emotional for me, really, because I know the positive impact that mindfulness has on people's lives. And I'm also convinced that when people are at peace in their own mind, they're more likely to look after each other and to look after the precious world that we all share. Less likely to do stupid things. And the second issue that was bothering me was that I see so many people training to teach mindfulness, a real heartfelt wish to share their treasure, to share what they've discovered. It's a kind of basic human goodness. They don't want to keep it to themselves. But I see a lot of new mindfulness teachers unable to find a way to create opportunities to connect with their audiences. John Kabat-Zinn has recently started talking about what's your karmic assignment? And I think that's a great phrase. Within this world, no one of us can fix everything, but we can each play our part. And it's a matter of not doing what we feel we're supposed to do, but discerning what's unique that we have to share. So I wanted to do something about that as well. And my background is, I've been a Buddhist for like 50 years. Slow process. I've been a mindfulness teacher for a few years. I've kind of always been an entrepreneur. Not particularly interested in money, but interested in how we can make things better. And when my business was first starting, we won all kinds of awards. And I saw the benefits that they could bring to people. Actually, I got flown to America to receive an award, which I'm sorry we can't do that. So it just seemed natural, really, to collaborate from my trust, the HeartNow Trust, to collaborate with the Mindfulness Initiative. There seemed to be a perfect fit. And in particular, the innovation fieldbook, because that really resonated with me. It was bringing together this idea that we do need to innovate in order to reach more people, but we've also got to be careful to do no harm. So, why did we do it? In summary, I want to celebrate achievements of the people that have achieved so much and reached so many people already. I want to increase and enhance the credibility of mindfulness, generally as an industry or a field of activity, but also I would like to give, particularly the finalists, more credibility for what they've been doing. I wanted to create something that would bring about positive connections, and I mean, what a place to do it. You know, the number of conversations that have happened here today already. And also to encourage more innovation. The people who maybe say, well, if these guys can do it, maybe I could do something. And you know, it seems to be working. Finally, I have to share with you my reservations when I came up with this weird idea. I thought it might increase competitiveness. It might become adversarial. It might put us all into a kind of perfectionist mindset and undo a lot of good that's already happened. So the question is, could we do it? And I think we can, whilst maintaining curiosity, kind of letting go a little bit, letting go of expectations, and maintaining a non-judgmental attitude. One of my Buddhist teachers, I think I'm allowed to talk about this, some years ago, he talked about a practice that doesn't seem to get mentioned, and it's the practice of rejoicing. And what he said was that if you rejoice in the achievements of other people, you actually get to participate in the value of it. And he said there's an even better bonus is that you don't get proud of what you've done. Pretty skillful. So this is how I'm going to be sitting, listening to what people have done as an opportunity to rejoice in what's happening.
Thanks, Vin. I'm Richard Edwards. I'm the director of the Mindfulness Initiative, and I'm going to be very brief because I want you to hear from our finalists today, not from me. I'd like to thank Vin and the Heart No Trust for their innovation in setting up the Innovation in Mindfulness Awards. At some point we've got to stop that cycle. I just wanted to say that we're celebrating the Innovation Awards and the mindfulness in the Innovation Awards. And the mindfulness isn't for mindfulness' sake. We're living in a world that's increasingly being described as banny, brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. And in some ways we look to innovation in mindfulness to hold mindfulness as a way of being that helps us realise the vision of an interrelated, thriving world where awareness, compassion, and openness are core to our immediate experiences and that shape our future. So I'm just going to move on now and introduce Menka. Menka Sangvi is a leading voice in creativity and innovation in mindfulness. She's previously been a global innovation manager with the United Nations. And we've been very fortunate to have Menka as our innovations lead since 2018, an author of our field book in mindfulness innovations, updating it very, very recently. Welcome, Menka, to lead the award ceremony.
What Vin said reminded me of a practice that my meditation teacher, or one of the teachers, which is called Anumodana, which is from the Jain lineage, and it says that if you deeply, deeply appreciate the goodness that someone else has done, then you get the same benefits, exactly the same benefits, which I think is mind-blowing, but I think it requires a certain depth of appreciation. So in that spirit, I just want to say that we're here as a platform for these guys, and lots of us have ideas, but they, and actually to be honest, so many of the other applications, we had to shortlist them, we had to make choices. These are the people that are pursuing those ideas, that are taking risks, that are making themselves vulnerable, that are filling out long and difficult, sorry if there's any fund managers out there, difficult funding applications, and failing and rejections and building teams and building partnerships and all of that. And then getting back up again and helpful things happen, shaking things up. So we're here to celebrate them, to champion them, and to support them. And with that, I'm going to ask them all to come up and share about their project. So the first person I'd like to invite to the stage is Alison Sedgwick Taylor, who leads the project A Mindful Practice. And do you have if you could share a little bit about your project.
Yeah, so A Mindful Practice started in 2020, as I'm sure you remember. That was the pandemic, the start of the pandemic. I became really aware that healthcare staff in particular were really struggling, and for reasons that maybe at times are not entirely clear to me, I chose GPs as the focus of the project, as a group of practitioners who were very much in the front line, but also had huge influence on population health. So I started working with a group of GPs to help them develop greater mindfulness and compassion, not really realising where this would go. It was developed very iteratively with them, in those early stages, with a lot of very deep listening to find out really what were their pain points. It wasn't enough to just say that they felt overwhelmed and stressed. I wanted to really understand what that was about and how I could begin to even address that with my knowledge of mindfulness. And very much together with them, which has now been going on for 4 years, we've developed a programme which has a number of aspects. One is an adapted 8-week MBCT course, but also we've developed a toolkit for mindfulness and compassion. We've got a community of practice where GPs turn up once a month. We've got seasonal retreat days. And we've developed a model for champions. So they go back to their surgeries and they might lead practices within their own surgeries. And also they become advocates for mindfulness and compassion.
Alison, can I also ask you to share maybe how people can find out more? It's going to come up on.
I've got my business card. You mean how to find out more about
the website to show us?
There's a poster and a card on the mindfulness initiative, but it's AST Psychology is the website to go to. But please do pick up a card, and anyone who's interested in collaboration or can give some advice about further funding, I'd love a conversation with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alison. If we can invite Brian Turnbull up to the stage next. Brian runs a project called Peer-to-Peer Mindfulness. If you can tell us a bit more.
Breathe. Yeah, mindfulness intervention number 1, when public speaking, take the glasses off so you can't see anybody. And then breathe. So peer-to-peer mindfulness is what I consider an innovative charity project that's delivering high quality, free of charge mindfulness to the public of the Scottish borders so that no one is prevented from having access to the transformative benefits that mindfulness can bring. On a course, that's learned on a course. Peer-to-peer mindfulness was born in 2016 as an idea, originally formed in 2017. Since then, we've had about 112 8-week courses for adults. Every course has been free, and with our teaching in schools as well, which is free. We have touched now about 2,500 adults and children in that period of time. The charity is now run by its trustees, its volunteers, its buddies who are past course participants who now come along to help the new people coming along, and its ambassadors who go out and tell people about its availability. Whilst I believe that we are making a big difference in the community, I really get that belief from the just enriching feedback that comes from course participants who years later even come and tell us how much it's making a difference to them in their life. And yeah, that's peer-to-peer mindfulness.
Thank you so much, Brian, for everything you're doing. Diversity in the projects as well as we go through. So next we'd like to invite Ruth Davey from Look Again to come and take over.
Good afternoon, everybody. So Look Again is a project around how we can slow down and look again and actually see what is in front of us. It's learning to see through different lenses, learning to see with compassion, with the beginner's mind, with gratitude, with non-judgment. And it's about using our eyes to really allow us to reframe what is happening in the now in order to then create new future stories of hope that come with action as well. So Look Again was founded in 2012, initially with the intention of bringing my personal experiences of working in international development and community development together with helping people to tell their stories through photography. Didn't really work out like that. In 2015 I had a breakdown, a mental health breakdown, actually very shortly after having done an 8-week mindfulness course. I don't know if they're related or not. I don't think they were. But I did really struggle with the 8-week mindfulness course that I did. I didn't think I was getting it. I wasn't doing it right. To cut a really long story short, as part of my recovery process, I thought, well, what do I love in my life? I thought, I love photography. I love nature. And I had got into mindfulness. And I started to gradually bring those three things together as part of my own recovery. And then to cut another very long story short, we created, we've now, over a period of a long time, created a training program that brings those three things together and that is evidence-based from the work that we've done with Gloucestershire University. When I say we, I'm actually mostly referring to my late colleague, Alistair Kelly, who, without him, this would not be happening. So Alistair was a dear friend of mine and a mentor and a very experienced mindfulness teacher, and he helped bring the mindfulness stuff into what I was already doing on a much deeper level. When I say we, I'm also talking about people who are in this room. Put your hands up. So people who've actually now done the training that we now offer, and we've trained over 150 people in 28 countries around the world in how to look and see differently. And this is very much around looking and seeing for us as individuals, for our own inner change, but also then how we can then go forward and create outer change in the world around us. And it's very much around looking at the future and all its uncertainty and the fear and the change that we need and the resilience that we need in order to create the future stories of hope. Thank you very much.
like to invite Julia Powell from Mindfulness for Refugees. Did I pronounce your name right?
So, the project is Mindfulness for Refugees. The beginning for us, which is Laura and I, was that the Sussex Mindfulness Centre wanted to bring mindfulness to underrepresented communities. And Robert Marks, my boss, particularly was interested in us reaching out to refugees and asylum seekers in the community. And it helped that I had a background working with refugees and being part of advocacy, a big coalition trying to influence government policy. But the original innovation was the development of the curriculum, which is Mindfulness Across Borders, which is a 10-week mindfulness course adapted from mindfulness-based cognitive therapy by Ariana Faris and Sheila Webb. Unfortunately, neither of them are with us here today. The course is both trauma-informed and culturally sensitive. And with Ariana Faris as our supervisor, we were really lucky to secure her as our supervisor. We were able to run the course in Brighton with groups of refugees. We reached out to the local community. It was a real job, as you can imagine, making connections with refugee leaders and gaining the trust of potential participants. And so there was a lot of groundwork before we were able to run the courses. But as we ran the courses, we found, without really thinking it was an innovation, but we were continually adapting the course with Ariana Faris's support in response to the participants. And the more that they felt their input was being taken on board, the more empowered they were to work with us to create this very safe space that they could come together. So, yeah, that's our project. And we've also got Kate Webb here, we've got Robert Marks here, who are both two members of the Sussex Mindfulness Centre team who have been very much behind the programme. Thank you.
Alex Farrell up next, please, from, not Pause, it's, the name of the project is now Anchor.
So, I wanted to tackle a solution to make mindfulness more accessible. And that's really where Anchor came from. It's a shape-changing biofeedback device that increases in size with the user's breath. What that really means is that as you're holding it, it expands in the tracks, changing its firmness. And the idea is to provide a physical manifestation of that breath to enable people to experience their sort of internal world through this external device. And it's been a really fulfilling process, enabling those who have not really had the ability, have maybe seen some stigma around mindfulness, enabling people to maybe teach it better. Anchor sort of has enabled that. So really what I've even came here today is to try and help sort of maybe push other innovators to maybe say that these physical, tangible experiences are something that we can enable as part of this practice, but also give a little bit of hope to those who are underserved, those who have maybe had not a great experience of mindfulness or support. And these are some of the images with sort of clinicians, users, Yeah, it's been a really sort of process that I didn't know what it would look like at the end. But through everyone's sort of collaborative enthusiasm, it's really sort of transferred into this process and system that can sort of be used whether your ability or language is regardless of it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Next up, we'd like to invite John Darwin up, who runs a project called Mindful Wellbeing as We Age.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. This is a collaboration between the Mindfulness Centre in Sheffield and the University of the Third Age. Slight contrast in numbers, there's 7 of us in the centre, there's 430,000 people in the University of the Third Age. We started teaching mindfulness 12 years ago, a course called Mindfulness-Based Life Enhancement in Sheffield and around there. And Mike and I, because of our age, we got very interested in mindful ageing. How do you age well mindfully? And we set up several courses in the U3A in Sheffield, which went very well. During the pandemic, we got more in touch with the National Office, who invited us to start working with them, and we became the national advisors on mindfulness and meditation for the U3A. And then we started running programs with them, and we've run it 8 times now as 6-week sessions, which are based on the principle of the 5 ways to well-being. You may have come across it. It was developed by the New Economics Foundation in 2008. And the idea is we don't push it from mindfulness angle, we push it from the different things there. Be active, connect, take notice, give, keep learning. And of course learning is at the heart of the University of the Third Age. So we approach 1 week each on those. And then we bring it all together, and of course, being from Sheffield, we naturally call the final session the Full Monty. And the Full Monty is based on the beginner's mind, and we're saying the beginner's mind underpins all of this. Do all of this, and you can begin to really bring mindfulness and meditation into what you're already doing, enhance what you're already doing, tackle some of the difficulties that we face as we age, things like ageism and stereotyping, but do it in a very positive way. So far we've had over 1,000 people have taken part in it, which sounds a lot, except that there's 430,000 members of U3A, so we've got a long way to go. We're also running it in person in Raw Marsh, which is the most deprived part of South Yorkshire. Run it several times, goes very well. Running it in universities next year, because after all, everyone's aging wherever they are, so why not start early on? And we're finding that it's really a very good way of approaching it, rather than start from mindfulness, start from those 5 ways to well-being, and then say you can take them so much further, so much better, if you incorporate mindfulness into it. Thank you.
Our 6th finalist, unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend today, and so I'm just going to read out what he shared about his project, which I know quite well. It's called Sticks Mindfulness, and Sticks is about interactive technology that introduces mindfulness activities to children between the ages of 5 and 12. And the remotes, the Sticks remotes, are 2 handheld devices that guide children through mindfulness activities, breathing, balance, emotional regulation, that are fun and interactive, teaching them skills that help them become more aware of their mind, body and emotions. So Sticks launched last year. What they haven't shared with me, but I can tell you, is that it was co-founded by Liam, the next slide, and his dad, who has a business background. and it was inspired by Liam's younger brother, who was experiencing ADHD, and Liam wanted to bring the benefits that he had found in mindfulness, making those benefits more accessible to people like his brother. And so that's the backstory. And their website is stixmindfulness.co.uk. So, yeah, in classic kind of entrepreneur spirit, he shared a lot about his project, but not about themselves. It's all intertwined, isn't it? So yeah, there's no one to accept the award, but we can have a big round of applause. This is probably a good point to just give a big thanks to our judges before announcing the winners. Robert Marks was Afsal, Vijamana Birch, Kathy May Carls, Luke Doherty, and Koen Bigelar. And it's just been such an amazing experience working with these diverse experts from varied fields. Some of them are academics and researchers. Some of them specialize in technology, and one of them is a specialist in equity, diversity, and inclusion. And they're all thought leaders in their fields. It's been really humbling to go through this process with them. Not an easy process. And so now I'm going to invite three people who are inspiring pioneers in mindfulness to announce the winners and to give them their award money, which, thank you to Heart Neuro Trust, is £2,500 each. And I'm not sure if you wanted me to announce the figure, but I feel it's a substantial figure. And as with our experience of these awards from last time, the main benefit of winning the award is in all of the ripples of connection and kindness and collaboration that happen as a result of being championed in this way. And so I'm going to ask first Mary Thompson to come up to give the award. Before you come up, I'm just going to introduce you, say a little bit about you. So Mary is the strategy advisor for mindfulness across HSBC globally and the co-chair of Mindfulness UK. And she is an innovator of mindfulness, having started and run the mindfulness program across the whole organization. And her project is a pioneering case study in our field book as well. She's a partner of the Mindfulness Initiative and knows a heck of a lot about creative partnerships, collaboration, and getting things done. So thank you, Mary, for being here. And if you could come up to present on creative partnerships.
Thank you. Well, wow, what an amazing place to be, and yeah, amazing to hear about all of your projects, and there's so much great work going on, so thank you. So I know we're not having too much time, so I will get on with it. So the category is creative partnerships, so looking at how we can get different people to ally together and achieve great things. And the winner is, drum roll, Mindfulness for Refugees. Well done. I'll let you rightly bask in the glory, but just there's a little something here for you both, and I think you can take that afterwards. But just a couple of questions, very briefly, if that's okay. So basically, what's next? What's your hope for the future? And I think in the spirit of creative partnerships, how can people help, do you think?
What we've been hoping, there's been a bit of an impasse since we ran the last course last year. And what we've been trying to do with Kate, who's just left, is raise money to run the courses again. So this is going to be helpful for starters. Yeah, we're hoping, and one thing that we're particularly excited about is that this feels like it's recognition for the people who we've been working with. So at a time where many people are being attacked for simply being foreign in the UK, for seeking safety and sanctuary from war and persecution, it just feels like a big recognition of their struggle. So we're terribly excited about it for that point, and we hope this might inspire maybe other organisations around the UK to also run courses for refugees. This curriculum is available freely for anybody to use. So yeah, really excited.
Well done both, it's fantastic.
Thank you. I didn't say much about the categories, but I'll just briefly say that the reason we have categories this time round, we didn't last time, is because it's really hard to compare apples and oranges, and bananas and pears. It's very hard to compare an adapted 8-week mindfulness course with a biofeedback board, with an outreach program to refugees, and it felt like a really progressive, positive step forward to have categories that allows us to celebrate more projects in their own way. And with that, I would like to invite Dr. Tamara Russell to present on the Technology Award. And Dr. Tamara was on earlier on a talk about mindfulness for ADHD. Just to say a little bit about her, she is a clinical psychologist, neuroscientist, martial artist, and mindfulness trainer. She's the director of the Mindfulness Center of Excellence, and it's an organization dedicated to the wider dissemination of mindfulness. Really resonates in that she's very much about how do we get mindfulness out to more people, to diversity in terms of the population. So thank you, Tamara, for joining us, and over to you.
So the category that I'm presenting for is technology meets mindfulness, and certainly that is an interface where we need to really be clear about our relationships, isn't it, as we move forward in this modern technologically driven world. So I'm delighted to announce that the winner of this category is Sticks Mindfulness. So unfortunately, Liam was not able to be here today, but I've got just some words that Sticks shared for this moment. So the question was, what's your hope for the future for this project? He said, I would love to see Sticks adopted by more schools and homes around the country to introduce mindfulness activities in a fun and engaging way that they can enjoy, and for our startup to continue innovating to meet the needs of new age groups, enter new countries and produce new research. Overall, I hope that more children are introduced to mindfulness from a younger age, whether that is through Sticks or other innovations, so they can grow into more mindful adults and we can develop a more accepting society.
The third category is mindfulness programs, so mindfulness training programs. And to present that, we are going to invite Luke Doherty. He is a former England under-18s rugby player. Luke left elite sports to train in mindfulness and study how contemplative practices support high performance and mental well-being. And he now runs Mindful Peak Performance, delivering mindfulness programs for elite athletes and leaders and teams. His project for the community, BAM, was the winner of the Innovations in Mindfulness Awards last time in 2022. And it feels like a really great way to honour the peer-to-peer nature of this project. To have you back. Thank you, Lou.
So yeah, thanks. Great to be back, and amazing to be presenting the winner of this category for training, mindfulness training programs, to Look Again. So one question, what is your hope and vision for the future?
There's two questions. What was the first one? Okay, hope and vision for the future is that not everyone has eyes. Most people have eyes. We all need to learn to open them and to actually see what is in front of us. We miss so much by rushing around this world. I don't know how many percentage, it doesn't matter, I'm not into figures. It's like we do not see most of what is in front of us and how it can help us, not just in the moment, but also as we move forward into the future. And my hope is that through the training program that we run, which is very accessible because it's very adaptable to so many different settings around the world. And I'd just like to just give a little example of that. So these three lovely people that we have here, put your hands up again. They're all fairly local to here, doing different things in schools, in other communities around this area. We have people at the moment in Israel running mindful photography workshops for people who were affected by the atrocities of the 7th of October, if I've got the date right. At the same training program that we ran that time last year, we had a woman from Palestine who was a UN peacekeeper in the Democratic Republic of Congo doing the same training. And so you can see how this is totally appropriate and adaptable to so many different settings.
How can people help you with your future vision?
So we're a really, really small team, like me and one person 1 day a week. With a few other people that we bring in. And my dream, my vision is I don't want to do this alone. I can't do it alone. The work works, it's powerful, and it's accessible because we all have a phone. It's not about the photography, it's about the looking and the seeing. And my hope, my vision, is that we can work together to co-create, to collaborate, to take this into schools, into hospitals. I do quite a lot of work with the NHS, but it can go a lot wider. Not just in the UK, but around the world, and that is my vision. And just to finish on the note of, it's been mentioned quite a lot today, and that is neurodiversity. I believe that I've got ADHD, I'm 54 and I only just found out this year. It's a huge thing to get my head around, but it makes sense to me. I now know why I find sitting on a cushion difficult. I know that by moving and by looking and being creative, I can be very mindful in that moment. And I know that so many other people can too. And I really want it to get out there. So please just get in touch. If anyone's got any money, of course, that would be great. But this is about the will to make this happen and to spread it out. Our website is look-again.org. So please do have a look at that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Made you think, oh, I know a person, I think that person should talk to that person, get in touch. This is all about community and collaboration. So yeah, do get involved. And I'm going to hand over to Richard to close up.
Thanks, Monica. Please, congratulations to the winners and the finalists. Amazing. Anybody who follows the work of the Mindfulness Initiative will know that we've launched a new strategy this year that is based around a theory of change model, looking at the impact of the work that goes on. And I think today reflects the importance of the impact of the work that goes on. As part of the prize this afternoon, it wasn't just the money aspect in terms of the £2,500 for winners. We're also offering mentoring support to the winners to help them to develop and grow and look for funding to continue and develop their projects. So that's a really important part of the prize as well today. Please follow our work. It's innovations in mindfulness.org. We focus around 3 things on our website. Again, looking at impact. And it is a field book which is there to help guide people who are looking to develop innovations, giving case studies and practical ways that you can innovate safely and creatively. It's about the awards and celebrating the awards and reading the case studies and looking at the blogs and reading the information of the people that are out there. But equally, it's about bringing a community together. So there is a community aspect of that as well. So please join the community. Please sign up for that. Innovation is part of our future. Thank you. Can we just have one final round of applause for the finalists?